Once you've starred in more than 600 adult films, chances are your home country wants nothing more to do with you on primetime television. Okay, and yet in the country right next door, she got searched online more often than Mao Zedong, Confucius, and Yao Ming combined. Stick around for this unique story of how one Japanese AV idol became one of the biggest celebrities in Asia without ever setting foot in Hollywood. Let's talk about Sora Aoi. Most of us outside of Japan may not be aware of some of the more interesting personalities within the Japanese pop culture fandom scene. So, I thought I'd do a little video series and try to shed some light on these individuals. Yep, once again, we're exploring the spicy side of entertainment. However, the story we're covering today might be the biggest crossover success I've come across yet. Most performers who leave the adult industry are lucky to land a late-night talk show appearance. Sora Aoi ended up with a pop career, television dramas, movie roles across Southeast Asia, and a fan base so large that a government basically had to try to pretend she didn't exist. So how exactly did an AV idol end up more famous than half the country's own celebrities? And why did the one country that banned her become the one that loved her most? Let's go back a bit. Aoi was born in the prefecture of Kanagawa in 1981. There isn't a ton of verified detail out there about her early home life, so I won't pretend otherwise, but apparently she was working part-time jobs through high school when she was scouted on the street in Shibuya, the same neighborhood that seems to produce half the talent in this industry. That scouting led to a gravure modeling contract in 2002, and from there things moved fast. Within the same year, she debuted in an adult video under an exclusive contract using the stage name Sora Aoi, which apparently just means blue sky, reportedly because her agency asked what her favorite things were when she signed on, and blue and sky both made the list. Not exactly a dramatic origin story, but it stuck. Now, unlike a lot of performers in that world, Aoi has said she never actually intended for this to be her whole career. Apparently, mainstream acting was the goal all along, and the adult industry was more of a stepping stone that got out of hand in the best possible way, and it really did get out of hand. By 2004, she had signed with S1, one of the biggest studios in the industry, picked up a Best Actress award at the Pink Grand Prix, and was already being cast in mainstream television. She popped up in a TV Asahi drama as early as 2003, released a tribute single as a singer in 2004, landed a real dramatic role on TV Tokyo in 2005, and even showed up in the acclaimed film Memories of Matsuko in 2006. Playing a high schooler discovered on the street, which, considering her own backstory, feels like it was written specifically for her. By the time she wrapped up her adult film career around 2011, having starred in somewhere north of 600 titles, she was not just an AV idol anymore. She was a legitimate multi-hyphenate entertainer. But here's where the story gets genuinely strange, because Aoi's biggest fame was not actually in Japan, it was in China. Adult movies have been illegal in China since 1949, and pretty much all of Aoi's adult work is officially banned there. That didn't stop her films from getting pirated and passed around online well before she ever crossed over into mainstream work, and by the time she was doing legitimate acting and singing, she'd already become a household name to an entire generation of Chinese men who'd found her the old-fashioned way, through a proxy server. Her Weibo account, which is basically China's version of Twitter, ballooned to somewhere between 15 and 19 million followers over the years. She was reportedly Googled more than Mao Zedong, Confucius, and NBA star Yao Ming combined. One list of the most engaging international celebrities in China apparently ranked her above Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, and Anne Hathaway. When she showed up at a motor show in the city of Nanchang, the crowd reaction got so intense she had to leave the stage after just a few minutes. There is even a story, which I will admit sounds a little too good to be true, that she earned the equivalent of millions of dollars for an 8-minute appearance at a commercial event in Chengdu back in 2013. I cannot confirm that one, but it tells you a lot about her reputation there either way. Naturally, that kind of fame came with backlash too. China's broadcasting regulator apparently blacklisted her from state television because of her bad image, which is a pretty funny outcome for someone who was already this famous in the country. Then in 2012, things got genuinely tense. During a period when the Senkaku Islands dispute between China and Japan had anti-Japanese sentiment running high, Aoi posted online calling for a peaceful resolution. Instead of calming things down, it made her a target, and she took a wave of online criticism for it. But even that controversy didn't really hurt her popularity. If anything, it turned into a strange kind of folk hero moment. Fans at a football match in Guangzhou apparently held up a banner declaring that while the disputed islands belonged to China, Aoi belonged to the world. That's a hell of a thing to have written about you on a banner at a soccer game. Aoi also worked to expand beyond just China, appearing in horror films in socially conservative Indonesia, fully clothed and saying she was genuinely looking forward to connecting with international audiences. And to her credit, when a major earthquake hit Yushu in Qinghai province in 2010, she was apparently one of the people who raised money for disaster relief, selling merchandise online and donating the proceeds. Not something every celebrity in her position would bother doing. Eventually though, Aoi did step back. She has cited a couple of different retirement points depending on the source, but by the mid-2010s she had mostly wound down her entertainment career, and in 2018 she announced she was getting married, not to a fellow celebrity, but to a Japanese DJ who goes by DJ Non. The couple had twin sons the following year, and for a while, I mostly disappeared from public life to raise her kids. For me, Aoi's story is one of the more genuinely surprising examples of crossover success I've come across, mostly because it happened almost entirely outside of Japan. One thing that stood out to me while researching her is that despite the controversy that's followed her for over 2 decades, she seems to have stayed remarkably grounded and self-aware about her own past, willing to talk about the hard parts instead of just the highlight reel. I wish her and her family the best going forward. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Peace!